My wife and I just spent the past few days with our two children at Disney. And while I think Disney gets many things wrong when it comes to the Christian worldview and the Christian faith, I think they do get this one thing right. This is The Fourfold Disciple, a podcast from Emmett Ministries, where we aim to connect theology, apologetics, and cultural engagement for your growth as a disciple, becoming a discipler of others. Well, when my wife and I, we were on vacation at Disney, we did all the fun stuff. We tried to not go to the parks. Our daughter is still pretty little. Our son is really little. And I, just didn't want to spend the time doing that. So we did all of the stuff like the resort. We went to Disney Springs. We kind of resort hopped. And during that time, if you've ever been to Disney, you know this, you're just inoculated in Disney stuff. Disney stuff is everywhere, from merchandise to wear, to drink out of, stuffed animals, toys, all of those things are everywhere. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? They're looking to make money, they're a corporation, they're trying to make a profit. But the thing behind all of the stuff is this ideology from Disney that if you have these things, your life will be better. And really, that probably permeates even the attendance of the parks or the attendance of the resorts. If you attend these places, your life will be better. Now, that's the Disney worldview, that you deserve to have what you want, that you're the center of the story, that you're the main character, and you should get what you desire. That's kind of the theme that we see within the Disney movies or Disney shows. And when you're at Disney, you kind of just see that full on. It's in your face, how anti-Christian the Disney worldview really is, because it's the culture's worldview that says I matter most of all, whereas the Christian worldview says Jesus matters most of all, others matter most of all. And I think we have to keep that in mind as we engage with these cultural things, that we're not engaging with many things in this age that are pro the biblical worldview. Now, all that's aside, we could talk for hours about where Disney fails and meeting the biblical mark and how they don't actually stand up for the things that the scriptures stand up for, and whether or not you should even engage. Obviously, we went because we do think there are some fun things there, and I think that there's a redemptive aspect when we attend these places and participate in certain things. But really what I want to talk about is the one thing that just caught my ear over and over again while we were at Disney, that showed that they do get one thing right when it comes to the Christian worldview. Everywhere we went while we were at Disney, whether it was the resorts or the Disney Springs, everywhere we went, there was Christmas music. And not just like the Jingle Bells or Rocking Around the Christmas Tree or Mariah Carey singing, not that type of Christmas music, although there was some of that. But we're talking about overtly Christian Christmas music. Silent Night, a song about the incarnate deity, the God-man, the Son of God putting on flesh, being born. And the reason I say that Disney gets this right is because what they're doing when they're doing that is one, they're probably playing on the fact that it is a season, so there's a little bit of that. But two, they're identifying that they cannot escape the reality that millions and maybe billions of people all over the world and throughout the history of time have celebrated December 25th as a day, and really that whole season as a season where we rejoice in the fact that Jesus has come, that Emmanuel has come, that God has become flesh and come to us. Disney cannot ignore that reality. And this is where they get it right, because when they tell that portion of the story, the beginning of Jesus's coming, they get the rest of the story as well, because Jesus's coming as a baby doesn't make sense if Jesus doesn't live a perfect life, if he doesn't die a sinner's death on a cross that he did not deserve to die, if he's not raised from the grave, and if he's not ascended into heaven. You see, when you go to Disney during Christmas time and you hear this Christmas music, it's a reminder that the truth of the gospel cannot be outran, that there's nothing we can do in this age to outrun the realities that Jesus really did come. Now, as there are many things that happen at Disney, there are many things that happen culturally around this time that are so far from Christ-likeness. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be concerned when we hear a pagan place like Disney playing Christmas music and look to use those as opportunities to have gospel conversations. The holiday season is an incredible season for us to have gospel conversations. As we look to Christmas, as we wait for the celebration, we're longing for Christ's return, and so many of these corporations fail to acknowledge that. And that's okay, because we are Christians who are in the moment, and when we hear those songs, when we hear people say Merry Christmas, we have not just the right and the responsibility to, but we have the ability to engage a culture that is seemingly obstinate to the gospel, yet is embracing one key fact of it, that God became man.
For more resources, visit emmettministries.org and make sure you follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and subscribe on YouTube for more weekly content from Emmett Ministries.